everyone, and welcome to Python Pop, a series of quick videos explaining different Python functions and commands. And in today's video, we're going to go over Enumerate. So let's think about looping through a list and displaying the index and the value at that given index in the list. Well, let's start with a list. We'll have a letter list, and let's say that we'll do letters A through E. So if I was to loop through this list and display the letters, I would just say for letter in the letter list, or for the item in the letter list, let's just print out the letter. And there we have it. We're going through, looking at each item in our list and printing it out. Now, if I also want the index and the item, well, in order to do it within this loop, because I'm looking at the items, I'm going to have to go back into my list and find the index of that item. So right before I print out my letter, I'm going to look at the index. So letter list dot index of that letter. And there we have it. Looping through, our first letter in our letter list is A, and the index of A in that list is 0. So there we have it. What's another way we could do this? Well, let's comment out this code and do a different loop. We could also, as opposed to iterating through the items, we can iterate through the index. So for I in range of the length of our letter list, we can print out I, and we can print out the letter list of I, getting that element at that index. So as you can see, this is going to give us the same exact results. But there's another way we can do this. We can use Enumerate. And let's look at what Enumerate does. Let's print out the list of our Enumerate object. So if we were to use the built-in function Enumerate, it takes in an iterable and a starting index. So our iterable is our letter list, and our starting index, let's just leave this as 0 for now. So if I was to print out the list of this Enumerate, you can see the list is made up of different tuples where we have our starting value of 0 and then the first element in our list, adding 1 to that starting value and then going to the next element in our list, and so on. We can easily change this starting value to a number such as 1 or even 5 or a negative. But I want to make a point that this does not represent the index of the list, which I'll show you what I mean in a second. So let's go ahead now and print out the index and our item or our letter in our list. So let's put this starting value back to 0, and let's loop through our enumerate object. So I'm going to say for, we need 2 separate values. Let's say I, comma, letter. So for I, comma, letter in enumerate of our letter list, comma, the start value of 0, let's go ahead and print I and letter. And there we have it. You can see that it's the same as those loops up above, the same exact result using the enumerate function. So you can see, since I left this print statement up above, I represents those integer values that we specified the starting value for, and letter is each of the elements in the list in sequential order, starting with that first element all the way to the ending element. Now we can change this starting value like we did up above. Let me comment out that other print statement. And when we run this, you can see that now I starts at 1 and then increases, but our letter is still going to start at that first index in our list and continue on. So if I was to now go back into my letter list, remember we changed that starting value of I, so I'm going to get an error now when I run this. And it's going to be an index error because I currently is 1 since I've changed this starting value. So if I try to go back into my list, this letter list at my index I, if I is 1, we're starting with B. So we're going to go out of range by the time we get to I of 5, because letter list at index 5, well, there is no index 5. So if we were to also go back into our letter list, we would need to make sure that we subtract whatever that starting value is. So subtracting 1. So just be careful when you do use this enumerate. If you do change the starting value, remember that that no longer corresponds to your index in your list. But if you leave start at 0, I will indeed be that index in your list. And there you go. That's how to use enumerate. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to click that thumbs up button and leave a comment below talking about the different ways you plan to use enumerate or ways you've already used it. But as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Happy learning!